anyway, that's neither here nor there because we're here, you're there, and you're watching Art Cult live, or you're watching it later on maybe. But hey, you may be saying to yourself, boy, I really wish I could help support Art Cult and all the art cultiness. That takes us right to our Patreon pitch.
Patreon pitch. Today, I feel like the luckiest man in the world. Is that baseball?
That's amazing. Yes, it is. It is. That's Lou Gehrig.
That's Lou Gehrig. Hey.
It's Lou Gehrig.
Nothing says give us money like Lou Gehrig.
Yeah, you know what? Because they're still asking for money for that.
They sure are.
So, so pretend we're two little Lou Gehrigs and give us all the money because you feel a little bad for us. But there's plenty of things that you can get. For starters, hey, if you tell us that this is the first time you're watching the show.
Yeah, first timers.
Exactly, first timers. Or if you've never gotten one, we have now recently decided we're going to extend that out as well. We will send you a free Art Cult button.
A button.
Exactly, a button. They may look like that. Mike has made them. There are a bunch of different great varieties, but just say, hey, I'm watching for the first time, and then give us your address or DM Mike your address if you just want to put it out there. Yeah. And we'll send you a free button.
Free button.
There you go, free button.
Just for participating.
Exactly. Also, another thing that's not free but we participate in is Wine Club.
Wine Club. Drinking some wine.
There you go. Because that is one of the 5 tenets of Art Cult. Make art. Talk about art. Encourage art. A 4th thing. And drink wine. And so you can send us $10 and we will buy a bottle of wine and we will toast to you and talk about whatever you'd like to have.
Is this in the shot in the back?
No, it is not. Going on.
I was going to really help Matt with the thing.
That's right. For example, this week's Wine Club is brought to you by the Abrams Theater. Abrams Theater is a fantastic place to go see plays. It's a beautiful theater. It's been put on place for many, many years. They have a nice rotating, selection of productions.
Sure.
Including a production that's coming up this summer. Mike, would you like to tell us a little bit more about that
Matt.
production?
Boy, golly excited are we here there as well.
We are.
The Abrams Theater is going to be producing a play that I wrote and directed.
Yes.
And wrote and directed.
And you've directed,
And I'm going to direct it again.
And produced, really, even if you want to throw that in there.
Lay it all down there.
Exactly.
It's a play called Lustful Youth.
That's right.
It's a hilarious romp of a play that I wrote the original script way back in college, and I have refined it over the years a number of times, and I'm proud to launch it again at Abrams Theater.
It really is. It's a really fantastical farce about a gentleman who wants to be kind of a serious writer, but he's roped into basically writing a long-running soap opera. And then the difficulties actually that arise as his fantasy life kind of starts to take a hold of the soap opera script.
Yeah.
And hilarity and calamity both ensue.
Sure does, yeah. There's lots of soap opera gags and funniness and sexy funny times.
Exactly. So that'll be in Abrams, which, especially if you're watching this in the greater, northeastern Wisconsin area, is not a far drive. And again, it's a beautiful theater. It's very easy to find as well. If you're just coming up to Abrams for the first time, you're like, how will ever I find it? You'll find it pretty easy. But
there you go.
Yeah, I would definitely encourage you to go see the show. So this is the wine juggernaut. Mostly I got it because of the label. It's a conversation we've had before as well. I just saw a label and went, yes. It's a little bit more than the $10 allotment for Wine Club. You'll never have to give us more than $10, though. And we would still toast you, much like we're toasting to Abrams Theater. All right. Almost last, but certainly not least. Is our links are in the description about ways you can support Mike through his page, support me through my page, support Jared through his page. If Jared's page is not on there, Jared should add his page because he should get supported as well.
Jared's Instagram is on there, I believe.
Excellent. All right, very good. And then, but the third way to support us is drink wine. No, I'm kidding. The third way to support us is by going out to Mike's Patreon page. Mike has a Patreon page. It has 3 levels. The $3 level. Ding. The $8 level, which is the best level.
That is the best level.
And the $20 level, which is somehow better than the best level. If you should become a Patreon member today only, or increase your patronage from 3 to 8 or 8 to 20, Mike will send you a free framed work of art. He's been sending out so many recently that I don't even have any at hand to show you. I don't have any at hand to show you because he's been sending out so many. There's 2 new ones. There's a new one. So he has been moving a lot, enough that he's had to reframe some new pictures. And again, look at that frame. That frame right there is worth the jump from 3 to 8. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, so you can let us know which one you'd like. He's very good at giving you selections. Sometimes he may send the one that you wanted off to someone else, but then it turns out in a weird coincidence that they have this whole Buddhism bathroom nook thing going on.
Are you referring to a specific event?
I'm not. Why ever would you say that?
I sent a art to a different person instead of to Matt, and Matt is still upset, and I apologize.
I'm actually not, because like
You can't be that upset because it was a Buddhist sort of thing, and so you gotta kind of let it.
75% of the art hanging in my house right now is a Mike Estercon original, so I can't be too upset about anything.
That's true.
All right, but yeah, so those are the many different ways that you can support us. Last way to support us
Finally,
is
and then
watch the show, share the show, let people know you're going to watch the show. Even if you're not going to watch the show, share the link to the show anyway.
Yeah.
Like, comment, heart it, those things. That's a great way for us to get into the algorithm, so more people will see it.
Sure. We gotta get the art cult going. It is, I feel, moving along.
Yeah.
Progressively. So
It is.
It felt good that we had an art party the other night.
Yes, we did. We can talk a little bit more about that.
We will talk about that. And the studio is coming together.
Yeah.
It also, but we do need more people to join the art cult, and that requires people to go be zealots.
Exactly, yeah. Cultists got to go out and do a little culting.
Yeah.
Again, and there's easy ways, like the pins, like the sharing the link. You don't even have to talk to anyone if you're wearing the pin or sharing the link. Those are really easy, low impact ways.
Just
to
quietly hold the pin up to people and walk around.
Or come see shows that we do, because usually there's a mention of art cults somewhere in there as well, especially if you go to see the Abrams show, the Les Louis show, or if you come to see what could soon be another Cardboard Theater production in September.
I believe that is happening, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, like, I don't want to get too excited about it because it's still a ways off, and it feels pushy to say it's happening, but I have a director, and I've got a place to put it on, and I've got a script, so basically it's happening.
What more do you need? A barn and some costumes.
Exactly, barn and some costumes. Yeah, and that's about it. And I think we already have the costumes, and I know a guy with a barn across the street, so we're good to go.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, so that's happening in September, and more information to come as we get a little bit closer to it.
Sure.
And I can remember the actual dates,
Okay.
which is always helpful.
We are great at pitching.
Exactly, and that was the end of Patreon Pitch.
If you build it, they will come.
Excellent. So, Mike, how you been?
I've been very well. How are you?
I've been well as well.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the art party?
We can. I want to talk about your show, though, real quickly.
Okay, yeah.
You just did another show with two dudes and a lady.
Yes, I did.
How'd that go?
It went very nice. I do improvisational comedy. Mike and I do improvisational comedy together. I have, over the years, a couple other groups that I've done improvisational comedy with. One of them currently is called Two Dudes and a Lady. It's with a gentleman named Don Shading and a former Comedy City alum, Caroline Quinn, who is a small business owner. Hey, if you need your hair cut, you should check out Mint Salon in Green Bay. Actually, she's so popular, I don't even know if she's taking people anymore. But if you do need a haircut, why don't you reach out to Mint Salon? And then Don Shading actually works for Titletown, which is a local brewery here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So again, you can support local that way as well. But every maybe 3 times a year or so, we get together and we do a show. We had one on Friday. It went well.
This is a quick turnaround from the last one.
It was very quick. It was a quick turnaround simply because the last one we did, we sold out, and we had a lot of people going, hey, when are you going to do one again? And it'd been, because of the pandemic, it'd been about 3 years since we'd done one. And so, and plus, because he works for Titletown, he was able to reserve the space pretty easily then again. It was, we were sort of, same spot. And so it worked out pretty well. This time, we didn't have quite a sellout. We still had a very healthy crowd, like 60 plus, that were there. And we enjoyed it. We switched up a couple of the games. We played a variation of Shopkeeper or Interrogation, if you will, called Father Forgive Me, because it was Good Friday.
Oh, nice.
And we had a nice little time. And it's always fun to play together. I don't know when the next one will be. Probably sometime in the summer. We may go out to Bay Beach.
That pavilion thing?
In the pavilion thing, because we've done at least one show there, and it's nice to do that. You're up on the raised stage.
Yeah.
We do BYOB because they don't have a liquor license, but it's fun. You kind of come and you hang out, and we might do more of an all ages show then too, because we've now had a couple people go, hey, oh man, I'd love to be able to bring my kids to one of these.
But that cussing. Not with all that cussing in those.
Cussing and that sexual innuendo and straight up not innuendo, just straight up sexual sometimes.
How's Carolyn going to do with that?
I told she will do her best.
Pass it over to Jared.
Oh, yeah, pass it over. She will do the best she can, I'll tell you that.
Well, I always enjoy the shows I've seen of yours. So if you're out there and you see the two dudes and a lady being advertised, you go to that show.
Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. And you're on Facebook. They're on Facebook as well. So Two Dudes and a Lady. You can find out the information. Look for one of the dudes that looks like me in the picture. You'll know you found the right one. There you go.
Now, what did you want to talk about?
Oh, I want to talk about the art party. I thought that'd be nice to talk about.
That's good. Yeah. So we had our first art party this last Thursday.
Yeah, just on Thursday. Yeah.
I couldn't remember all of a sudden. Such a good time. And the basic idea is a bunch of us artists got here to the studio. played some tunes and did some art with it. We had a theme of LED lights because I got these little LED lights.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, we used those, and so we a variety of different people. Then we sat and drank wine and talked, and then it just got just wild.
It did.
Fun.
What was really nice about it?
Go ahead.
No,
No, you go.
what was nice about it, as someone a first timer to the art party, one, I liked that it was a group of people, including a group of people that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Which was nice because actually, and Caroline was there as well, but I didn't recognize Caroline right away because I don't think we've ever really talked person to person. Really? And then she had someone with her as well that must help out with the productions of their show. They've got. Can we say the name of it? Do we have to hold the superstition here?
No, this is not a theater.
Yeah. Okay.
This is not a theater.
So they're going to be doing Macbeth. Macbeth
is going to be M word all you want.
They're going to be doing Macbeth. Macbeth is the name of production that they'll be producing. Macbeth in the park.
What's Macbeth's last name? That's how they should do it.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Or first name.
I guess they should call it by the first name. Then it'd be really people that know,
Sure.
But so the last couple of years, what's the name of her production company now?
Play by Play.
Play by Play does Shakespeare in the Park, which is a great way to experience it. Mike and Jera have both been involved in it, and so this year the one they're going to do is Macbeth, which is going to be really cool because there is a lot of nature that's involved in that production as well, especially in the beginning and in the end. But yeah, so I didn't really know them, and I didn't know one of the other couples that had shown up. One of the people in the couple, well, actually two of them, I guess, didn't even really do any art. They just came to kind of hang out and be part of the vibe, so that was cool.
Yeah.
Everybody was kind of doing little different things. Some people were painting, some people were taking pictures, some people were playing, drawing on like iPads or just listening to music or sketching. So I liked that it wasn't, one, you didn't have to know everybody.
True.
Two, you didn't even really have to like participate. If you didn't want to, you could just be there to be part of the conversation and the vibe. And then three, that everyone wasn't really required to do the same thing. Like it was just, and actually it was kind of funny because we were all just kind of hanging out, sitting, and then it was kind of like on a count of like three, like 1, 2, 3. All right, if you want to do art, you can do art. And then everyone just kind of slowly started arting. And that momentum then carried us for at least a solid hour and a half, if
There
not
were
longer.
a couple of really, so the conversation got excited and loud.
Yes,
later
it
in
did.
the evening. There was earlier in the evening, there's a point when all like there were 10 or 12 of us there. I forget how many, everyone was just quietly doing art for like it was like this weird peaceful moment amongst a big group of people.
Yeah.
all doing it was delightful. Delightful.
It's really nice. I think that's probably kind of the idea of what you were looking for.
It was, yes.
And so it was really, we had music going on, and Mike was like, hey, if you have an album or an artist that you'd like me to throw into the mix, let me know. And we'd throw them in, and they all kind of work together. And
there was also some collaborative work going on, and like people like showing what they did and ideas bouncing around.
Yeah.
That was fun. I'll show you a piece or two that I did that night in a little bit. It was collaborative, and Jared did a cool photo with a record album.
Yeah, that was really neat.
Yeah, that's fun.
And I just want to give a shout out to Ashley, who I had not met before, but I don't want to say Bob Ross did, but it was a landscape picture. But I would, every like minute or so, I would look over, and there was another like 3/4. I don't know how you keep doing 3/4 of painting, but another 3/4 of the painting was like done, and she did a great job with it. Maggie was here. 2 Maggies. We had a plethora of Maggies.
We had the maximum number of Maggies.
The most Maggies are legally allowed in the state of Wisconsin. Thanks, Wisconsin Bar and Tavern Association, to have in a room at any one time.
That was the name. We named the pub Maggie's Place.
Exactly. That's why you can only have one, because it's her place, singular. It's not Maggie's apostrophe place. It's Maggie apostrophe S's place.
We just moved the apostrophe.
English language, I tells you. But yeah. So it was a lot of fun. So
it was a lot of fun. So that last one, this was a fun one.
Yes.
This is a piece that one of the Maggies did, Maggie Monty, and we discovered later with the LED things here, where you stick them behind here, you get like, look at that, you can get glowing stars shine.
Oh, that's fun. That makes it then look like a nebula.
Yeah. So you can
really
stick a couple behind the canvas. You get different colors of them.
And then what was also neat is we kept grabbing the remote and like changing the colors on the stuff too. So let's see if we can do anything. Hey, here you go.
Ooh, blue nebula. Ooh.
I can't get through the canvas though.
Oh yeah.
There we go. All right, there we go. Doesn't show up as well. That's good. That's good. There we hit that one. There we are.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, but I think orange probably works the best actually. There we go. Kind of get a little bit of that. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff right there.
Yeah, and that was a random discovery. Based on just like looking at things and playing around with stuff, and the more people you have playing around, the more chance that you're gonna have of a discovery happening.
Oh, exactly.
So we're going to do it again next month.
Excellent.
I've not decided on the theme yet. It's it's either going to be balloons or flowers.
Okay.
I don't know.
Nice.
If you have an opinion, let me know.
There you go.
You there?
Yeah, throw it in the comments. Balloons
Watching us.
or flowers.
You want balloons or flowers? All right.
All right.
So that was what was going on.
Excellent.
Where are we on our...
We would move now on to either the topic du jour, or we can move to the inspiration pile. You want to do topic du jour first?
Yeah, let's do topic du
Let's do topic du jour. It's the topic du jour. That sounds good. I'll have that.
Today's topic du jour is intellectual property rights.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just going to talk about it. I don't know my opinion on them.
Okay.
I kind of feel like I'm against them, but also I could see why I would be for them.
I think it's
yeah. Currently, it's because maybe I have no dog in the race, as it were.
Understandable.
Maybe no one's stealing my stuff. Maybe they are, actually. I don't know. Because when you post stuff up online, technically it's to the world already.
Public domain. The AI is definitely dragging it for data.
Yeah, what do you think, man?
Well, I think it's one of those things that kind of like your stance on AI for a while is, well, I guess, so then it comes back to my stance, sorry, thank you, is that I think a large artist or a large company needs to be more open to it and less litigious about it. Whereas people that are just starting out or people that like it's basically their main source of income as the creative properties they're coming up with, I can understand why you're much more against it. So for example, if you're an independent creator and you come up with, well, heck, we'll say come up with a pig.
Sure.
For example, or Critter, and suddenly somebody else is slapping Critter on T-shirts, and they're slapping Critter on hats, and like they're making the money off of it, and you're not, and they're like, yeah, I saw it, I thought it was really cool, and I started making these things out. I never really asked if I could or not, that sort of thing. I think that there's a reason to be upset about that. At the same time, though, if you are, say, Walt Disney or Marvel or DC or something of that nature, like. You've already made enough money off of that I think.
There's the rub.
There's the rub.
You've made enough money.
But
when does that number happen?
With that there is a number. But at the same time, then you see that so often, especially with not with Disney as much, but especially with the creation of like cartoon characters or comic book characters.
Yeah.
Where they eventually get bought out, and there's all these stories of people that invented characters in the 70s, 60s. Joel Shuster and Jerry Siegel, who came up with Superman, got bought out for like I don't know $250 or whatever. Because at the time, especially then, you were just creating a new character every week because that's the nature of the comics at the time. And then this became.
And who would have foresaw that Superman would have been?
Exactly, became like the greatest, most popular, most recognizable superhero of all time. And they're like, yeah, we already gave you the $250. What do you want for it? They're like. Well, they died it broke, and you're making $100,000 a week off of this. So maybe you could throw us a little bit back.
That is a question. I don't understand how that works too. When the intellectual property rights are owned by an estate, or versus like I can kind of see it like I thought this myself. Like the things that I have created, that I have the rights to those things.
Yeah.
And then I should be able. I can pass on to my daughter my stuff.
Yeah.
And she could do whatever she wants with it. Maybe she has to start over. Maybe. She has to re-trademark everything under her name. So I leave her like the physical. Well, I mean, I would go for everybody the same rules. The same rules apply. Like I'm not big on the nepotism. Nepotism shouldn't be a total free ride.
Yeah.
You should, if your parents do well, you should be able to benefit from their experience. Somehow,
oh, certainly.
If nothing else, like life lessons. But if they are creating things that you could use as well, I don't know.
That you could. I think that becomes one of the things as well. I think you would be definitely like, okay, we'll say again, Critter. You create Critter, and then Critter gets spun off into a web series, and this, that, and the next thing.
Oh, yeah.
And so the next thing you know, before you pass away, you've got a $10 million empire built around Critter. Now, if your kid wants to continue to help produce new Critter content, help evolve Critter, that sort of thing, I think that's also different from being actively engaged with the creation and maintenance of Critter, rather than just sitting back and being like, yeah, Critter makes $100 million a year. That's my money. Don't you dare touch it, because my dad came up with that.
Don't you know who I am?
Don't you know?
Don't you know who my father is?
Well, and then it becomes the thing of, don't you know who my grandfather was? And it's like, well, okay. I think it's also one of those weird things with intellectual property, because this is actually just coming up recently. So Mickey Mouse, in theory, is coming due soon, but actually Walt Disney Company had a bunch of copyright laws rewritten so that they could keep the copyright longer, which is shady. But then, like Winnie the Pooh, for example, Winnie the Pooh, the book character who does not wear a shirt, is now part of public domain. Winnie the Pooh, the Disney character who wears a shirt, is not part of the public domain. Zorro, the original Zorro, is like public domain, but like Zorro that you know from TV is not part of public domain. Dracula is part of public domain. Sherlock Holmes, I believe, is part of public domain, but certain things about him are not.
Wasn't James Bond as well?
James,
the books?
I don't. That's a great question. See, that's one I don't know about. But it's always those weird things where like certain like this, you can do this with this character, but you can't touch on this part because this is still under copyright. And so it's always that sort of weird thing too. And it always seems like the only reason that is done, like 50, 60 years after the point as well, is like because some company doesn't want to give up their money. It's not that person cares anymore. More often than not, that person is long dead. And then the reverse, like when the creator of like Guardians of the Galaxy was like, hey, cool, I'm dying of cancer. Can I maybe get a couple bucks from these multi-million-dollar movies? They're like, here's the thing. You sold those guys to us for like $7,500 in the 70s. So no. And then they have to be like shamed into doing it. So I think that's the hardest part. I think it's
corporations. Is that the problem?
I think corporations, like so many things, corporations is the problem. I think that it is important that the creative work that you create is protected in a way so that you're able to kind of safeguard it. But I also certainly understand the idea of parody and also the idea of fan art, fan fiction, all of those things.
Or collaborative creating, really. I mean, also, you know.
Well, I think there's collaborative creating. I've done collaborative creation. I did it with the one book I wrote was a novella, and it was actually written technically collaboratively with a gentleman who said, these are my characters. He goes, it used to be for a long time, if you wanted to write a book with me, you had to send me the treatment. I'd have my wife read it. We'd go through it, that sort of thing. We'd split the money this way. He goes, tell you what I'm going to do for the next year or two. There's this new Amazon Worlds thing. My characters are out there. If you want to do it, that's fine. I get half the money. So if it does well, you know, that's a thing to be aware of. If it doesn't do well, that's basically just on you, and I still get half the money. He goes, so go ahead and do it. And all these people jumped at the chance.
A lot of people?
Yeah, I want to say at least like 20 or 30. I think at least 20 new books came out from other people writing the stuff. Because I bought a couple of them off of a sub character that I wrote about, and I still found a couple books about them. Because it was a detective series and that sort of thing. And those are always kind of popular, and people want to write their own detective stories with these characters because they find them interesting. So I think, in a way, people wanting to use your art is good because it means that they liked it, something resonates with them, they think it'll resonate with other people. But I can still understand that it kind of comes down to the creator. Maybe that's more it. If the creator is okay with it being shared, I think creators should have more freedom to say, yes, I'd like to share this. And again, I think, a lot of the issue comes into the punitive thing of companies coming after you than anything else.
The thing that always kind of bugs me here, I mean, it's that the reason why you can't use or share things is when it comes down to it, mostly a money thing, not necessarily a diluting the brand thing. Well, even diluting the brand is because it'll cause, trouble to their bottom line or whatever. And art by nature should evolve, and like pieces should, you create with each other, and it should evolve and change and become something new.
Yeah.
And it feels like that stunts the growth of it, stops it.
Yeah.
And you can't have Winnie the Pooh wearing, a different.
You can't even. Yeah, I don't think you can have. Don't think you can have them wearing like a yellow shirt, and then they'll come down and be like, "Nope, that's still a shirt." And I think that's the thing sometimes too, where they're like, "No, you can't because he's wearing a yellow shirt," and you're like, "But it's a different shirt. Why can't I tell Adventures about Winnie the Pooh?" And they're like, "No, you can't because."
Yeah, no, you can.
Yeah,
you can. You can tell Winnie the Pooh stories all you want.
You just gotta worry about them getting yanked.
As long as he's not wearing a shirt.
There you go. Winnie the Pooh, who was not wearing a shirt, went out into the 1,000-acre woods one day. 100-acre woods, 100-acre woods. This was the 1,000-acre woods, and
woods.
Winnie the Pooh was shirtless. I cannot clarify that enough. Like the opening of A Christmas Carol, Winnie the Pooh had no shirt. It is important that you know this, or the following story will not mean anything to you.
I'm just picturing like a buff Winnie the Pooh strutting on the beach. Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, yeah.
Doing the peck thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, well, I don't know if I've changed my mind at all on intellectual property. You got any thoughts on that, Jerry?
I think it's hard to reconcile because like art naturally when it develops and changes, like when you look at what certain symbols meant or the power certain symbols held, especially when we're talking about like a character or something, or even like a style of doing something. We see it all the time in cinema. We're like we're tropes. We get our tropes from, right? This means that. This means that. Oh well, there's the I don't know an owl, so we assume it's that because we always see owls before and that. It's odd because that seems at odds with that ability to change stuff. Because if you have that copyright, part of that idea is you're talking about that consistency, that character.
Mm-hmm.
You're not trying to besmirch that work in that way, where it's like, okay, well, someone's Mickey Mouse stands for happiness and good friendship and good times, and so nothing can. They don't want anything to interfere with what that means.
Yeah.
This actually brings up a point. Now, do you guys remember when Looney Tunes had the reboot sometime in the 2000s where they're like futuristic, like they're almost like anime Looney Tunes?
Oh, I think I do. Yeah.
And they had like buzzsaws and like other superpowers.
Oh yeah.
It struck me that was a corporation going, how can we make more money? Oh, follow the trend of this animation style.
Yeah.
To make more, versus independent artists going, how can I
this property? I appreciate this style.
Yeah, how can I evolve this property in a way versus just chasing after what they think will hit the hot button money things.
Exactly.
And that Looney Tunes show sucked because they tried to pander too much. And
They were chasing a trend. No, exactly. I agree 100%.
So you got that on the one end, and then on the other opposite end would be like the old Calvin and Hobbes situation.
Oh yeah.
The Calvin Hobbes fella, Sam Waterston.
Bill Watterson. Yep.
It was like, I don't want to do the Garfield route. I don't want to merchandise it, whatever. But then other people were like, well, we will.
We will, exactly. 100%
took him to go and made him peeing on a Ford logo or whatever. And
Calvin will pee on whatever you want him to pee on for a bit because of that. And actually, that's... But at the same time, when you think about it, so the whole Garfield situation was, again, Jim Davis, though, very deliberately saying, hey, this is my thing. You can use it in all this stuff if you want.
Yeah.
That's fine, but it's going to come back to me. And him still having control over his things. Oh, my goodness.
Are you not familiar with this?
I was not. This was not even the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of a whole different one, and that is, wow. I'm glad I don't remember
Are
this
the
one.
folks at home seeing this?
No.
Oh, you got to share with them because they can't
Give them a
see it.
share,
Don't do the
unless
fan
that,
art.
unless
Give them
that,
actual clips of the
Unless
thing.
that sets off intellectual property right.
That's fine. Hey, that'll be very relevant then to our conversation.
That's
if
true.
suddenly,
We are talking about the thing. You can show the thing we're talking
Actually,
about. Right?
what's funny is, okay, so that kind of brings up, in a way, so a group that I like to watch, they're called OSW Review. Well, OSW Review. It's old school wrestling review. It's three guys out of Ireland. They do wrestling reviews. They do this podcast, and they have a video podcast as well. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on their own page. But every single time they do a review, because they're reviewing like WWE pay-per-views, they're reviewing WCW shows, and this sort of thing. And so they're using clips and they're using music from different sources and stuff, and like from video games and things. And they will always then get hit with 50 different things from YouTube of people claiming copyright and stuff, including they actually just had a run recently, maybe like a year or so ago, where they were having videos pulled because people were claiming the music in it was theirs when when OSW people had already gotten it cleared as their own music. Like it was already on record that it was their music.
Anyone can make a
Anyone
claim.
could make a claim on it, and they pull the video and wait for YouTube to do it, and so then they lose the money that was on it, and they lose the ads that were on it, and all that stuff. So it's a real pain in the neck. And they just had one. They've started a new run where they do these little arcs, and they put up their first episode, and it was pulled like immediately because of some 2-second joke that they used, but they used, I guess we'll say, the wrong clip from WWE, and so someone from that organization or someone somewhere immediately made a comment on it. It wasn't even germane to the conversation they were having. It was a little side joke they'd made that they then photoshopped, but because they used this certain piece of WWE footage, they had to have it pulled for a while. And it's like, it doesn't negatively impact WWE having this footage used because they weren't even really talking about WWE. It only negatively impacts the creators of this content.
Yeah.
And it doesn't put the other group in a good light because it's like, they very specifically pulled it down because they don't want their stuff out there and being shared. So yeah, it's. I think that's one of the things as well. I think
the counter argument is always from the people getting hit by a intellectual property thing is that, well, I mean, I'm promoting your thing. I'm trying to spread. I'm giving you exposure. That thing that people want to give younger artists for instead of money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll pay an exposure. Okay, well, I'll give you exposure. Nope. Give me money instead. What do you mean? Like lunatics Lunamaniacs Unleashed.
Yeah.
Lunatics Unleashed, the free exposure we just gave them.
Did you show that on there?
No, they didn't see it.
Show them, Jera, show them
Jera wants to show.
Lunatics
Okay.
Unleashed.
All right. Luniacs? Lunatics.
Lunatics? Lunamaniacs. Lunatics Unleashed. It ran for two
seasons. I don't think I ever actually saw it.
Yeah,
I think I saw clips of it. I don't know that I ever actually saw it.
that one also works. And that is,
But they were
you
all
already know how 2000 is just by the way they wrote Lunatics, like the logo of it
Yeah.
right there goes, yep, that's,
Yeah. And so this is them trying to, cash in on like Last Airbender or other
yep.
anime at the time.
My goodness. Yeah, this is just the most edgelord stuff possible.
Yep.
Ace Bunny, Lexi Bunny. No, I mean that's she's already Lexi. Techie Coyote.
Wow.
Slam Taz the Man. Slam.
And Rev Runner. Wow. Well, wow.
What it seemed to do was distill the characters down and then scrape out all the joyful parts of the characters.
Yeah.
And just
2005, 2 seasons.
That's the worst part of it. Is when they take something, they scrape all the joy out of it.
They took the violent aspect of all these characters instead of sarcasm and
The
humor.
fun,
and
witty part?
Fun, witty part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh well. Anyway. All right. I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Yeah, but
Should we
that's
move on?
intellectual property.
That's intellectual property.
Yep, that's great. Intellectual property. That was the topic. Du jour.
All right, Matt. What do we do next on the hit
Move on to
parade?
the inspiration and/or idea pile.
All right. I will. Here's what I got. So in the ever continuing quest to get the Art Cult Studio finished,
Yes.
with plumbing and such, we were setting up pipes.
Ooh, pipes.
But we're clearing space for the pipes.
All right.
They got to go all the way to the basement.
Oh.
And in the basement, there was boxes and boxes of stuff that I had.
Okay.
Previous things.
Sure.
Writings and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And, old shows that I'd written. I found an old notebook.
Old notebook.
From 1990.
Wow, that is an old notebook.
1990. This is just out of high school and first year at college. And so I was looking through this, paging through it, and having a lot of nostalgia flashbacks. Been quite a nostalgic week for me. And I was just going to list off some of the plays. I have there are at least 3 plays in here,
Really?
unproduced.
Please do.
unfinished.
Please do.
Some more finished than others. So the one, a play called Abrogate. Abrogate is just a fancy word for to nullify or to get rid of, but it also sounds to me like a city name, Abrogate. And so the play was about a small town called Abrogate, and they have a airplane crashes there.
Okay.
And then that's when the town is discovered because the town doesn't actually exist. The town was a mistake on a map. They had drawn the map, and they made a little bump, accidentally creating this town because it was
I love that.
created by accident. And so when they discover the town, like, oh, this town doesn't exist. You guys have to stop existing. And then that's the play is them debating on how to stop existing.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, never finished.
All right.
I also have a number of pages of a play. Now, the time I was writing this, I was Andrew Lloyd Webber. That fella was
I've heard of
a little
him.
hotter at the time in the 80s and the early 90s than he is now. If you've seen Cats, you know what I'm talking about.
I want to
But
make.
Cats was fresh at that time.
I want to talk about that in just a minute, but you continue on with
Cats
the
was
story.
fresh at that time, and so was Starlight Express. And I came up with an even worse idea than Cats, a musical about cats, or a musical about singing in trains that are
Trains over roller
that are
skates.
people on
and-
roller skates instead. Mine was going to be about the human eye, and it was going to be a giant, like you were miniaturized. All the actors and characters were miniaturized aspects of the human eye, like a little dust particle floating into the eye, and then some genetic mutation guy who causes like eye cancer. I forget now, but I wrote little songs,
Nice.
and I wrote I had this picture of like the dust particle is going to come floating in through the crowd like they were like a pirate ship or Vikings.
So you're saying like Osmosis Jones.
Yeah.
He wrote Osmosis Jones.
Like Osmosis Jones. But
Better sue on that intellectual property.
Yeah. I don't know. When did that
You
come
wouldn't
out?
know if that would have been
Hey, come on.
predating.
That didn't come out to like 04.
That's right. Give me my money, Osmosis Jones. That one went nowhere. So this was fun, is what it was. And I also found a couple lines, a couple pages of the play that I'm directing. So this is the original, the lines for that, for the Lustful Youth, are in here as well.
It's awesome.
Oh, yeah. All right, did you do your dog, Matt?
I did my dog. I did my draw one dog. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about
That's good advice for this time because that is. So what I wanted it to be is I wanted it to be a German Shepherd.
I'm dog man.
And so it started off with the ears, and as soon as I was drawing the ears, I'm already like, this is bad dog.
Yeah.
And then
or is it Dino Mud?
yeah, Dynamite, exactly. That Dynamite was actually the other one I was thinking of. I'm like, no, I'm doing a German Shepherd. German Shepherd, like the real intense kind. And I'm like, well, how do you draw an intense, angry mouth? And I also realized that this is better done as a profile than a straight on, because that's also the nose, and that doesn't come across.
It's hard to draw straight on, because the nose. Because the
certain dogs are easier to do straight on.
Yeah.
Like, in all reality, coming back to, actually, I would say even the Dalmatian, which I'm not, but the Dalmatian from a while ago, don't worry about it, is a little bit easier to do straight on.
You see, you can draw the nose, just not the snout, and some dogs have more
Yeah,
distinctive
that's the thing.
snouts.
That's the thing, because you need the snout really for the German Shepherd because it comes back then. And also, I think I'm thinking of a Doberman Pinscher when I say German Shepherd, which doesn't help either. But anyway, that's my dog. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. You feel you're getting better at that?
I feel like it's a fun exercise because I need to think of what kind of dog I want to draw. And so if nothing else, even if I'm not getting better at it, I'm getting better at the idea of I should draw a dog and do it. And it also helps because I have an idea of if I want to draw a dog, where I want to start on it.
Sure.
Like, for example, when I knew I was drawing that dog, I'm like, I should start with the ears. Like, that's where you start a dog, is off of the ears, because that is such a defining characteristic for a lot of dogs. So that was one of the things that I think I've learned in the times of doing this. So yeah, even if I'm not getting better at it, I've learned.
You are getting better at it. You're learning little techniques, and so every time you do it, and identifying that you learned like a little thing, like a specific thing like that, gets weirdly helpful. Like, and as you do it, you're like, oh yeah, no, it's easier to do that. I still do things that are like, it feels like there's gotta be a better, more efficient way to do this.
Yeah.
And then someday, like, I'll be doing it the same way. Oh, I can just do it this way. But I don't regret all those times I didn't.
No.
That's fine. Yeah. You got a thing more?
So one of the reasons we started a little late today is one of my kids. Sorry, everybody. But one of my kids had the Pinewood Derby. He's in the Boy Scouts. He had the Pinewood Derby, and I was very proud of him because he did the car basically all himself. Like his grandfather has the woodworking tool, so he helped him with the cutting of it. But my son came up with the design of it. He did actually a lot of the cutting himself. He did a fair amount of the creativity on it and that sort of thing. And then you look at some of the other cars, and that obviously did not happen for everybody. But on the drive back, I was then asking him, I was like, well, did you learn some things from doing it this time?
Yeah.
So did you have a good time? Did you do most of the work yourself? Because I did some things, and Grandpa did some of the things because I still wasn't sure how to do it. I said, what do you think you've learned for next time? He goes, yeah. He goes, and all the kids that don't know are going to tremble before me. And I'm like, all right, that's confidence. But it's true as well.
Nice.
Like just from doing it, like you feel more confident to do it again the next time because you know what you did the last time and you know where you want to change and make improvements.
Plus,
so
if you
awesome.
can build up a confidence that gives you sort of godlike threatening qualities.
Right?
Tremble before me.
It's amazing.
Good.
Yeah. Speaking of Andrew Lloyd Webber, the one question I'd had at the time, so I did go on a little bit of a deep dive, was because Cats is coming to the PAC this next season. Yeah. And I'm like, how did Cats become like the biggest musical
Have you heard the songs?
anywhere? Well, Memories, yes. And I think there's another
Have you
really
not heard
good.
the other songs?
No, the other
They're
songs.
very catchy songs.
Okay, so that must be
They're
the reason.
fairly nonsense, and the show, the plot is
The show
like,
doesn't make it,
whatever. Yeah, but the songs are incredibly fucking catchy.
Because I'm like, to the point where I went, was it a dry spell in like Broadway and the West End? They're like that's why it's so tough. Because there's sometimes like that where people are so starved for a new type of art.
No, at the time that was the peak.
And I went looked, and I'm like, nope, there were a lot of other big shows going on still at the same time, and this one just caught and it took
ran
off
for years and years.
Years and years and years. It is, I want to say, still the like third longest running
Maybe I
music.
think
or something like
Phantom took it over, which is still another Andrew Lloyd Webber anyway.
It sure is. And actually, it's funny because I was looking through the list of longest running ones, and then I'd come across a play and be like, "What's this play?" And it'd be like, "It ran from like 1920 to 1927, and it was considered scandalous at the time." And it started out by playing in. It got kicked out of Broadway, went and played in the small towns to rave reviews. It came back to Broadway for another like 500 years, and it's like, oh, okay.
I don't understand how mysteries run a long time.
Yeah. Well, there's the
People
one.
figure those ones out.
Isn't there Mousetrap or whatever it's
Yeah.
called? And they're like, you like have to sign an agreement saying you won't tell anyone in the end, or maybe it's just Scout's
But
honor.
it's been
But
out since the 30s.
I still don't know what the
I
end
don't
is,
either.
but, you know.
Actually, I don't either.
All
Good
right.
job, everyone.
it's like, well done, good job. Do not say anything.
Don't tell us the ending of Mousetrap.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't tell us. All right, Matt, let's move on.
All right.
Because we are, how much time we got left? About 10 minutes
Sure.
or so?
All right. Well, then I think it's time to move on to Matt's snobby critic.
Matt, snobby critic. He's such a snobby critic. And if he had money, he would use it to buy art.
I would. Like I'd buy a Picasso or a Garfunkel.
Ooh. If you had $1 million. All right, so
Exactly.
are we mirrored? Or just thinking about it? Thinking about it?
Scream mirror until you yearn for day
Come on.
and night. Day and night.
Night and day.
The lonely mirror too.
Are we on this? What are the people seeing right now?
You staring at
At
them.
this moment, what are they seeing?
Right now, they see you.
Staring at them. Yep.
Look at this,
Put
man.
on a delay. Hey.
While we're waiting for the thing to thing,
Yeah.
unable to connect to. I'm trying to. Oh, nope.
I thought you were holding
Nope,
my
it
hands.
went away.
Oh, you don't want to see passcode.
Nope.
They can't.
I don't want it.
Not yet.
Your option disappeared from
Oh.
my screen here, and then I accidentally pressed living room TV, and that made that happen.
On the screen,
Anyway, Matt, look at this.
I like it.
What is this?
That is a piece of
This is a piece of wood. This is a slat from the wall that used to be here.
nice,
And
and
what's this, Matt?
that's a saw.
It is saw. I got a miter saw box and a
Okay.
saw, so I can start making some frames. Maggie has yet to tell us the secret, but I saw her. I saw how she did it.
I seen it, and then I saw it.
So I haven't done it yet, but I know I'm
Nice.
got a saw. I'm gonna saw it, and I'm gonna glue it. I'm gonna make my own frames.
There you go. Because I actually have a wood frame on a 1/4 of my Mike Escon art.
that's
My
the one
newest piece. Yeah.
That's the one she was doing in front of me, and I saw how she
That
did it.
fool.
Yeah, that's right. All these years she's been holding the secret of how to make a frame from us.
Exactly.
Now I've learned. So soon we'll get me frames. I got a pile of this lath in the backyard.
Yeah.
I gotta bring some in so it dries out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, whatever. Is it working well for you? Yours?
Oh,
yours, though?
love
Looks
it.
Nice?
Love it. Yeah. I love it.
Good. Phew. Well, that's my new excitement thing.
Because
Frames
it's
coming
actually
soon.
100% of the art that's not talking about my kids that I have hanging up downstairs are Mike Escon. Well, sorry, 2/3 are Mike Escon originals. And yeah, I forgot that I had some other framed works, but you know, yeah, they're both in prominence in my living room. Both the 80s Wave one, and then Don Quixote and the Sun. And I love them both. They're on the wall, so I can see them when I'm sitting on the couches, and it's great.
There you go. Don Quixote is a nice one because you can. I feel it's a good one you can stare at and imagine.
Yes.
Like it meditates and kind of let your mind want daydream.
Very much so. Very much so.
Like Don Quixote would. I never finished. You read that book?
No, I read like a little snippet of it because the weird thing is as well, it's one of those ones, and we've talked about this actually a couple art cults ago, the idea of properties from one media to another. Because I think what most people know Don Quixote from is The Man of La Mancha, which is not Don Quixote. It's like Cervantes telling a Don Quixote sort of story,
yeah,
but it's not the book. It's like the musical is not the book reproduced as a musical. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah. Because Don Quixote was like one of the first books to break the fourth wall.
Yes.
Within a book, and then at some point, someone else did like fan fiction without asking him.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, it wasn't whatever. And then he wrote like another book saying you might have heard these other tales about me, but those ones aren't true. I'm the real one.
Oh wow!
It was I would like to learn more about it. I read it.
Yeah.
I was reading it, but it's very good. It's very funny.
Yeah.
But it is also kind of rambly.
Okay.
Which may have been the translation, or maybe just be the,
Could be.
the style of the book. But I'd like to learn more. But,
I wonder if it's one of those things too, like because at the time, like Victor Hugo, for example, and Les Miserables. But Les Miserables has will have these giant like segues and offshoots and diatribes and stuff. And it's because he was getting paid by the word or whatever.
Yeah.
So he just like suddenly throwing 1,000
Dickens
words.
Thing too.
Yeah. And because Dickens was doing a lot of like articles and stuff, and so there'd be times where you pad because you had to make deadline or you had to do this, and it's just very interesting from an artistic perspective.
That might be a good topic in general, the art and money. But
Yeah.
I think we kind of always cover that.
We kinda
as
do.
Mike complains about money.
Well, what we talk about here, we talk
Every
about
episode.
no, not that, no,
No,
not that,
here.
no, not that. Hey, we talk about this. We talk about the 5 tenets, which are make art, encourage art, talk art, a 4th thing, which is move art, and drink wine.
There we go.
All right, art critic.
Yeah.
Time.
What do the folks see right now, Joe?
They see Matt and a square with your screen.
There we go. All
Yes. Shut.
So,
that one makes me chuckle.
right. Which one? All right. You're gonna...
The fuck bottle. So we made it up.
The fuck bottle.
We made it up to monsters last time.
Yeah.
You were telling us about a dream. So let's look at the one next to it, actually, the fish.
The fish.
'Cause I like that. That's really cool.
All right, here we go. You got a little goldfish in a bottle. This is a part of my continuing bottle series.
I like what you do with the bottles in that both when you just have the kind of potion, which is interesting, as well as like usually has an interesting label to it. But I also enjoy these ones where you've kind of created their own
Some sort of
sub-world.
content. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And so tell me more about this glowing fish with yellow bubbles. That
So
comes out.
yeah, it's standard little goldfish, which I learned to draw as a small child.
All right.
You know how to draw one of
Oh,
those
I know how to draw the
right?
fish. Yep. You draw
I've
kind
thought
of 8.
I've thought of different ways to draw a fish, but you know what? This works really good for drawing a fish.
It's a great shorthand for fish. It's like the V for birds.
Yeah.
Like it's like that's not the best way to draw a bird, but if you draw a bunch of V's
Like
in the
Black
air,
Alley?
people go, "Yep, that's it. It's
Black
good."
Alley, that's the word. My dad used to, when I was a kid, he used to draw on our bellies or our belly button.
Okay.
The little a fish like that with our belly button being the eye
Okay.
or the mouth.
Oh, that's fun.
And
Yeah.
good times.
Nice.
But then also, as you know, I'm in love with the Luminance brush.
Yes.
Which adds a little glowy, automatic little glow
I
action
love
to
it. I love the fin
So
as a glowy thing.
Yeah, so I made him kind of, so he's a magical fish. He's like a fish you make a wish, you know. and
Yeah.
He'd probably say, "Don't kill me, I'll give you a wish."
I,
Blah, 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 blah.
I also really enjoy, and I think we talked about this last time as well, the canvas effect. I believe the whole thing is the water and the background both done in the canvas effect, or is just the bottle and the...
Looks like the color is
Yes.
the water. Yeah, so the color is except not the fish. The fish is solid.
yeah.
actually. Yeah, it's a brush. Salamanca.
What I really like about that is that
Salamanca.
adds that extra element and that extra texture to it, and it makes it seem less like a digital picture and more like a physical piece
Yeah.
of art that has then been just captured as a picture.
Fakes you out.
Yeah, it really does. So it's beautiful. I love it.
Beautiful.
I love it. Again, if you would like,
If you want that,
if you'd like any of these pieces of art, one, go to Mike's Patreon page, and I'm sure they're all up there. Or two, increase your patronage or become a Patreon member, and I'm sure you could say, "Hey, I want that goldfish bottle picture," and he would set you up.
some of these are up. I think that one might be up yet. We're on pace basically with the new art I'm showing you, and
Awesome.
then the art going onto the Patreon
Excellent.
page. I'm not on pace with the EsserCon.com page.
Okay.
That one's falling behind a little.
it's
I
something's
can't
gotta
only,
give.
that's a third part of art. You make art, you think of art, make art, then you gotta distribute the art.
You gotta distribute it so much, really.
I'm doing all right.
And I can see that's why people would get upset if someone else taking their intellectual property, especially if they started to make some money off
Oh,
it.
sure.
It's one thing if you're taking it and like promoting it and working it back around to this person, but it's another if you're working so hard trying to get it out there and someone else is like, just throw it on my Instagram. I've got 10 times as many followers.
And if only that person, I would work with somebody like that. If
Yeah,
somebody
right.
wanted to do it that part,
Oh yeah,
like that would be the ideal thing.
Follow Train
Is
Fridays
that you'd have
or
someone who's
yeah,
good at distributing.
you can say Signal Boost Sunday, something like that. That's one
I
thing.
guess that's
to
what
tell you.
corporations do. All right, never mind.
Well, no,
I've changed
no,
my mind on
no,
corporations
it's not.
completely.
No,
They just distribute the artist's work. Good. Pass me the wine and give me a contract.
Exactly. Pass me the wine. I would now like to go to, there's Volcano Bottle, and right above that, there is Red Nightmare. And I would like to know more about Red Nightmare.
Okay, all right.
Because it looks like something actually that they would use for a wrestling poster
Ooh,
or
sure,
a wrestling like character. It's a real.
So
but yeah,
this,
what is this?
is scary, isn't it?
Arms
It's like
raised in a V.
it's a
Deadly.
Rorschach test for sure.
In pools of balloon below.
I believe, actually, I think this has been really simple to do. I believe.
yeah.
I
Let's
believe
go, let's see it
I did a background sort of action here. Yeah. So background, I was playing around with stuff. Oh, I'm using the
little Donnie Darko going on there for
What
a
do you call
second.
the brush? Or another brush, the setting. There's a
Mothman.
No, there's a setting where it's parallel. It's both sides.
Oh yes, symmetry.
Symmetry.
Symmetry
yeah.
one.
So I did that, and then this is just a real close up of a singular brush blob.
It is not.
It is. It's just one brush.
So you blopped it, and then you had the symmetry tool on, and you just went in for it.
Yeah. And so it's basically when it was a Rorschach test. So that's what it looked like with the one big blot, and then I added a little red on the background, and then you could see the guy at the top in the middle.
Well, when you Rorschach, you could see the guy on top. Yeah.
Like, I added little eyes to him, little red eyes. That wasn't enough, so I
Glowed him up. He had to glow up. Oh, we got down on it.
Yeah.
Nice. Because what's funny is, okay, so if you're imagining that that's the person, and I think everyone will be able to follow along here, where its pelvis is,
Yeah.
and then its legs go down, and then there's an additional leg bone that's out.
Yeah.
That's what I thought the eyes were. The eyes were
Oh.
that, and then the jagged part there is
Sure.
the mouth.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That is the beauty of a Rorschach test.
I know, right? Exactly. But that is something else. That's real. It's cool
I
and it's
feel
fun
it
and
needs.
it's terrifying.
It is fairly terrifying. I feel it needs something to give it more meaning. And I'm thinking like something in the middle here.
Yeah.
Not this necessarily, but something of a something to maybe a word or a title or.
Oh, maybe. Well, I almost wonder if something to like.
Or maybe not. I mean, maybe it just could.
I almost feel
nice
to
frame.
give either more form to the whole thing or less form to like the external. Because as you bring it in again, now it's becoming more of a figure, and unfortunately the little guy on top of it is almost drawn away from it. Because then it's like, oh no, that's the little guy, and the whole other thing is something else.
Yeah.
But with being the face thing, like I can see now shoulders and that sort of stuff going
It
on.
looks like,
but,
right now, it looks
right?
like he's like calling their. Maybe
Yeah.
close up would just be a better.
Oh yeah.
thing.
Oh, actually, that's really good. 'Cause it looks like he's bursting out of the ground and like
Bursting
also
the ground and
calling the
calling
ground
earth
up,
up, yeah.
or exploding things around him. That's actually, and with that red that's going on, the red, which is almost, and I don't know if you did it on purpose, is almost a shading of the Rorschach
I
done
think
again
it's a
on top of
different.
it.
I think I did the same thing, but on a different layer.
Yeah.
So it's another big brush blob.
Yeah.
Symmetry.
So I'm just saying, if you like creepy pictures, you like horror pictures, or maybe you're working on like a horror story or something, and you're looking for some inspiration, both this one and The Monsters Are Coming
Yeah.
are two really good ones that Mike has done
Sounds
recently.
fun. I feel like I'm in general a happy-go-lucky
Yeah.
kind of guy, but scary ones are fun to do.
Right? Yeah, sometimes it is fun to tap into that and just see what's like, what's the creepiest thing I can think of?
Yeah.
So can we scroll up just a little bit higher? Okay. We got two. Okay, we got two.
Okay.
We're not going to go to the third one up top, but we've got a little squat orange robot.
Let's go ahead and enjoy. Now, I want to be clear on this one.
Yes. Squat bot.
Squatbot. To be clear, he's raising his hand he's got a question.
You're
He
sure
is
it's-
not doing the Hitler salutes.
Oh, okay. I thought he was either throwing up three fingers.
Well, either way, yeah,
or
he
he
could
was,
be doing that.
Or I thought you were gonna be like, he is not protesting. He's not trying to defund the police. He is just simply.
No, I think you said, the impetus was he's got a question.
Oh yeah, I can see that in his
I got a
eyes
question?
now. I can kind of see that in the eyes now.
I'm a little upset with things. Although he does, I mean, between the eyebrows and the hairline and the thing,
Yeah.
it could be a Hitler thing, and it's not
I don't
meant
think we
to
should
be
bring
a
Hitler into
I
this at all.
didn't.
I think there's been enough people bringing up
I'm
Hitler art
saying-
recently that we don't need to be talking more about Hitler art. But I think the idea of the hand on the hip and the eyes and the mouth both can be seen as, hey, I have a question, and also, hey, I don't agree with that. So yeah, let's see how it all kind of. Whoa, oh, that's nice. Good cleanup.
Yeah, this is the thing that I think might be easy. There might be a method to do it easier.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy doing that where you splash a bunch of color on it and
Yeah.
then trim it back.
I like that. And I think that's a neat way to work with it because sometimes you're not going to know where the splotch works.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that recently. So I did help with a little bit of the painting of my sons. And I did not do as good a job with the brush as I should have on some of the detail work.
Yeah.
And so then I went over again with a Sharpie and drew in like I did lightning bolts. And so I actually drew like kind of lightning bolts on top of the yellow, not so tight lightning bolt. And I'm like, that's actually a pretty relevant art style where you kind of let the paint spread beyond it and then go, this is the thing. And then your eyes like, oh, okay, I get how that all goes.
Actually, on his upraised arm,
Yeah.
like at the elbow, you can see like there's
Well, and the fingers even.
and the fingers. There were decisions were made. I had to like decide how much of it to keep in or not. And sometimes it works really well. You can where you have it, where you allow it to still be spread out beyond it, so, like that.
Yeah.
It's a little, there. But then you have to decide like how much you want to spread out. So yeah. Either way, blah blah blah.
I think it's really good. And also, again, talking about making art, there were decisions made. There were decisions made. It seems simple. There were decisions made on the number of rivets and where to put the rivets.
True. Yeah, that was the whole thing.
You know, like I see again when you watch it, all just comes up, but like he had to figure that out, and he probably take some time to do it, and so.
And how big the rivers are going to be, and then also you want them kind of in a pattern, like where they would naturally go, but you don't want them to look too patterny.
Yep.
I have that trouble with stars too.
Oh,
with
yeah,
stars,
yeah.
You wanna, gotta be random.
That's a straight line.
Oh, that's a straight line, and if 3 dots will make a triangle.
Oh, that's another one. Oh no. Oh, it's all in lines. Oh no. Quick, throw some birds in there.
Space birds.
All right, and then let's go all the way over to the right then, because that is one of my favorite artists.
This here?
Yes, that one. 'Cause I just like it.
Yeah, isn't that?
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that.
That is a sunset or a sunrise, a moonrise.
According to Kevin McLeod, right? Or was it Craig Kinnett? Who told us that? We were sitting.
Kevin
maybe.
McLeod was talking about
Yeah,
that,
it's like sunrise, sunset. You can't tell.
The same.
I think that is a sunset though, because of how blue the sky already is.
Sure.
But yeah, I love it over the lake, and it's nice.
Right. And I never said it was a lake.
Yep.
Look at that. He intuited
And with the
it.
trees, with the lake and the trees, boom, boom, there you go.
Yeah. It's nice and minimalist, simplistic.
Yeah.
I did have the straighter line.
Okay.
The app will straighten your line for you.
Okay.
But I think by the end I decided I wanted it to be a more naturally bumpy line.
Nice. And also, again, if you can watch this real quick, if you go back to the kind of the start part of it, because I just want everyone to again, as we encourage art, watch this. Okay, so we're gonna start putting in the sun. So yep, keep going forward, and the sun comes up tomorrow. There it is.
Yep.
Nope. Whoop.
There's one.
See, he puts it in. Then he decides I want to move this over, moves it over,
Right.
and then starts building off of it, and then does several different experiments with the aperture of it, and then you see it moves over again, and moves down. And again, the reason I bring all this up is because, again, as we encourage you to make art, look how many different things he did with the sun
Yeah.
in the time in the creation of this picture. Like the number of different ways he moved it, or expanded it, or shrunk it, or played with the iris versus the color of it all, and then how he played with the coloring of it, and how it's going to reflect in the water. Like those are all decisions you as an artist will have to make. But also, all of the ones that he made would have worked just fine. So if you're ever like, well, I never know where to put something, or da-da-da-da-da, like, that's okay. It's okay to experiment, and it's okay. You can't put it in the wrong place. It's your art. You can't put it in the wrong place. That's impossible to
can't
do.
fail.
Yeah, you can't fail, all right? By creating something, you have already succeeded. Again, that is one of the tenets of here. It is, nope, that's not it. Just kidding. It is encourage art. And it is make art. And again, you cannot fail when you do it. I hope, if nothing else, Matt's draw a dog each time, don't worry about it, shows you that. Because I'll tell you this, most of these, let's be honest, but I'm making art. And that's the important thing. And each one of these is a success because I have made art. This was a blank card when I started, and now it's not. Now it's a dog.
Now it's worth twice as much.
Now it's worth twice as much because I am one of the most creative artists, playwrights anyway, in Northeast Wisconsin, if not the entire state, if not almost the entire Midwest, Chicago and Milwaukee excluded. Because no, you know what? No.
What?
No, one of the most creative playwrights in all the Midwest.
There we go.
Come for this. Anyway.
I just want to show one more because it was a
Please
thing
do.
that we did do during the
Yes.
art party. This is a collaboration I
yes.
ended up with. So we have over here we have a bunch of origami whales from an earlier project that
Which are hard to make, yeah.
Whales are really hard to make. Maggie made the whale.
Also,
And,
when you've had a couple cups of wine, I used to make a whole bunch of swans for back in 5th grade was when Desert Storm happened. So we made them and sent them to the troops. So I've made many a swan, but that
Many a
one,
swan.
many a crane, and that one turned out like that. But it was going to be a panda, I think, and that didn't turn
I
out
made
well.
these kind of birds. I
Ooh.
know that.
Fun.
So Maggie currently is the only one that does make the whale.
But we'll steal it from her, much like the frame technology.
That's right. And so what I did is I took a photo of a whale with the LED lights underneath it.
Yes.
So it's kind of glowing like from within, and then the color blue. That's why it's kind of that glow there. And then I took a photo of Maggie Monty's painting, and then put them together with the magic of kind of a Photoshop sort of deal. So now it looks like a space whale flying through space. Look at that whale fly.
It's great. I really like it.
It's I really enjoy the look of the origami. Like the paper looks really nice. Got the texture. You can feel it.
Yeah.
You can almost feel it.
You can.
And it looks like it is, in space, but also looks very also artificial at the same time. You can see
Yes.
you can see it's a paint canvas and
Yep.
paper. So that was a collaborative thing.
That's And that came about having a bunch of people in the same room.
Right.
And honestly, Maggie independently decided to just paint a starscape.
Yep.
And then after you saw that, you were like, well, why don't I start doing some origami? Because I remember kind of watching the progress of the things going. And she was kind of done with that. And then the origami came out. And then even later than that, because I remember you taking pictures. I remember watching you take pictures of it on your iPad and kind of playing around with it because we were asking you what you were doing. And then the combination was taking place later. But that's just, again, a really cool thing that, one, came about because two people were just making art in the same room. But yeah, very cool. Nice.
All right, so that's the snobby critic portion for today.
There you go.
So I think we're about up to our time here.
Yeah,
our
I think
sand
that's
has
it.
run out on the sand dial.
There you go.
And we've covered all the things we want to talk about, I think, for the night. We'd like to thank you for joining us. We are going to have the next one that will be coming up in
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
There we go.
We are still good for that. 2 weeks. And the topic du jour,
Yes.
2 weeks from now, is color theory.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
I've heard this phrase.
Yeah.
I know it's a thing.
Yeah.
I do not know anything about it.
I'll spend time
so
looking
in the
into it
next
then.
couple weeks, I'm going to do a little bit of research on it and see if I can learn anything about color theory.
All right.
Or if you folks watching have any ideas you want to spread and tell us about, please do.
If you want to read up on it and throw something in the comments next time we come around, have a conversation with us, we would love to have it with you as well. Again, different ways you can support us are in the comments. Again, you can like this video. You can go back and watch it later and throw some comments in or like it. We'll respond to comments that you put in there. You can share it around. You can visit our pages. Come see shows at Comedy City. Come see the play in Abrams in July. Come see, right?
Yeah.
July? Come
June.
Sorry, in
Totally
June.
listening.
Go see a play in July as well. I guess go see a local play in July, but go see his play in June. Come see my play in September. Support local art, whether it's through music or plays or authors.
Openings or gallery openings.
So many different ways to support people, even if it's literally just sharing a link on a social media page of something that you like. That's one of the best ways to do it. So thank you all for joining us, and you have yourself a great day.
Have yourself